got the engine out of the engine stand and on the floor. Got all the stuff off the back, flywheels off, clutch, pressure plate, and we're getting to do the front main seal. And there's a new one. There's your old one. The old one. Actually, the old one's not terrible as far as its pliability, but that doesn't mean that it's not bad. So we're gonna go change that out. And the YouTuber sent a some VW specific tools. Generally, I just kind of tap it in with a hammer, but he came with this little press to go press that in. So let's go give that a shot, see how it works. Never used one before. Yeah, I'll say thank you for sending that stuff too. Come on. Might need a bigger screwdriver. There it goes. And it's up. You tell where the oil level is right now? Again, generally I kind of tap them into place. Let's start it anyway. Oh, I just run around it with a hammer. Let's see if this, whoops, do anything different for us that. Center in. And then the outer is adjustable for that. Just run the bottoms out to the case. Let's get rid of it. Looks pretty good to me. And the clutch and rear tin is put together, front tin is put together. Got the fuel flowing out of it. It's not too bad. I'll let that run a little bit and put it in a jar and check it. It's got about 1/4 of a tank in it. I want to push out the old gas. It's pretty much all drained out, but I want to kind of it's like it's got a heartbeat. I'm going to shove a rag down there on a one of those flexible grabbers and kind of soak it up, see if there's any water or rust stains on the bottom. Looks pretty close, pretty clean though. Looked in there with a light. I jumped ahead and put the motor in. Really want to try to get the camera underneath there while I was doing that, but it is in. And I'm chasing wiring. Wiring is really an eclectic issue on this car, let's just say. So I'm kind of poking around. Basically 3 wires come from the harness. One's supposed to go to the oil pressure switch, one is supposed to go to the hot side of the coil, and the other one I believe goes to the voltage regulator. When I turn the key on, I have power on 2 of the leads, and one of them is, as far as I understand, is not supposed to have power going to the oil pressure switch. Let's go and see if she'll fire. It just changed out the ignition too. So again, that was supposed to have 12 volts on it. Actually, that connection is horrible. Let's go swap that one out for this one. Guess which one we know goes to the oil pressure switch now, don't we? Hey guys, I just kind of got into the mood and didn't turn the camera on and just started repairing things that needed to be done. Did a bunch of the wiring. The voltage regulator I mounted up on the firewall. Ran some new wires to things. Figured out what went where. I'm leaving a battery out of it for now because, you know, tail lights and everything still need to be wired up. So we're going to run off the jumper pack. Fuel lines are all plumbed. All new fuel line. Gas tank is drained. New fuel is in it. The ignition switch is put in through the dash. There was one in there, didn't have a key, so I got that on there. And I think we're good to go and test a whole bunch of stuff. And the first would be, if I can get in. No, not that. If let's go, both lights should light up on the bottom. They do. Oil generator. My big foot. My winter boots won't fit down down where the pedal goes. That might be an issue. Looks like the brake pedal might be bent closer to the. Anyway, we can heal it for now. So we'll give her a couple pumpers. It should have a little bit of gas left in the carb yet, and hopefully it'll prime itself through the fuel system. And we want to see that both of these lights shut off. All right, stay running. Let's go see. Oh yeah. I'm gonna leave the fuel filter up here for now. So I want to monitor what's going on. I'll probably put it on the car later, but everything's new. I'm not worried about it. Nice. I'll let that warm up a little bit, change the battery in the camera. Alright, one more time. Yeah, I put the shifter in, but the rod fell all the way down to the bottom. Tomorrow. Hey guys, it's a couple days later, not quite sure where we left off. I think the last thing was we were able to get it started with the key in the ignition, and I don't think we had the shifter in or not yet. Anyway, the shifter is reinstalled. So we'll start continuing on getting some of the needs met, which is going to be probably lights. This is the next thing we should work on. Again, it's been about 3 or 4 days. You want to throw a battery pack in it, do a cold start? All right. Yeah, I had to do some maintenance on the commuter cars. So I had to take a break from this. And now we're back on it. I got it up to about 2 miles an hour in reverse. Haven't driven it yet. There we go. Let's get that out of harm's way. Give her a couple of those. Sounds good, huh? A little bit of crap in the fuel. I'll let that run a couple minutes and let it warm up. I should get pretty warmed up now. Sound pretty good. Idle's nice. What do you say we work on some lights? Okay, so let's see if anything works. The 2 lights work, we know that. Dummy lights for the engine. I would say that should probably headlights, and that should be wipers. I don't think that's for the squirt, but that is pretty frozen. I'm gonna be more concerned about headlights. High beam, low beam is actually, it's got a button on the floor. We'll give that a click. I don't see much of anything happening out there. Now we have no power to the headlights. Go check the fuse panel. And we do know we're missing a gauge out of here. I wonder if the power pickup has been removed. Nice that all the wires are painted red, huh? Makes it easy for chasing. And let's go poke around a little bit, see what we find. We'll go check the fuses on the back side of it, and I can definitely see it looks like we have a bunch of spades that were on there at one time and then pulled off. And we think it's probably the same wiring as a Beetle. You know you're getting old when you gotta lift the car up to work on the wiring. Hey, if you got it, might as well use it, right? So we'll give her a shaky shake. Falls on the floor. Now we can kind of open the door and sit on a stool next to the door and poke at the fuse panel and that kind of thing. Alright, so we're up under the fuse panel. Looks kind of dark, doesn't it? And it actually doesn't look too bad. I'll turn the key on. I disconnected the power to the coil, so we don't have to worry about the points burning up. Let's go see. I think it has to have, for the headlights, I think it puts power through the different fuses. In other words, there's only power in the fuse when the headlight's on. And different for high beam and low beam. Yeah, so I'm not seeing power to anything other than the main coming in. There we go, the end one. Alright, so the two end ones have power with the key on, everything else doesn't. Turn the key off. That one's still alive. And that one's off. So this one's by key. That one's probably the circuit for the ignition. Let's, I'm gonna go get a book and bring up a Beetle, see if it's the same. We'll get a general idea what's supposed to be what. Got a book, not sure what you're gonna be able to see. This is 62 through 65 Beetle. Couldn't find one for the 65 gear, but I think the only thing that's gonna be different is it has one more gauge cluster in it. Labeled a couple of things so you guys can know what we're looking at, and I can remember what we're looking at. That's the ignition switch, windshield wiper switch, and the headlight switch. Power coming in, here's the fuse panel right here. Power coming in, this is the one that lit up, and this is the other one that lit up. So this is power coming from the battery, energizes that circuit, then comes back, puts power to the headlights, and then the other lead off of that is coming to power for the ignition switch. When you know the ignition works, these three wires should be okay. I have a feeling we want to check between this fuse and power getting to the headlight switch from there, and then we'll check the outs. And those, just like I thought, the outs for different parts of the lights, as they go out, they run through a fuse and then they continue out to the lights. Alright, we're under the dash. And this is the fuse panel down here. Should be able to get my light to work. That should read, yep. What is that? Sorry about that. Just stabbed you in the face. See this big thick red wire right here with nothing on it. So one of these should be going off to that switch. One of these should have, does. So we have power going to the switch. And so those two end ones have power. let's go turn the switch off. Funny if it has like 4 blown headlights, right? And let's see if power turned on and off. That one's still lit, and that one's still lit. So the 2 that were lit were still lit. All right. I should really pull that switch out of there and look at what we got. Someone's made that big white heavy wire you see. This one. And not sure what the other ones are doing. Hey, you want to do that? Want to pull that switch back? I wonder possibly too, maybe we should just take and we'll put a jumper on the fuses and see if the headlights come on down in the fuse box, right? Backfeed it. See if that part, see if maybe we'll work from the headlights back and make sure that they're powering up. And I'm suspecting ignitions, the headlight switch itself, but let's go do that. All right, let's go try that. We know we got power right over there. That's main power coming from the battery. Let's test light, make sure we're still lighting up. Yes, we are. So we know we got 12 volts positive on here. Let's go touch a couple of the. Let me go look, see if they're lighting up. Yep. That is the driver's side. Either one of these to light up the driver's side. Let's go see this circuit. That has both sides. Judging by this wiring, we're in for fun. Yep, different things will turn on as I put power across them. So I have a feeling we just do not have a signal coming from the headlight switch. From the headlight switch coming out of there. Let's pull that switch away. Well, I was going to start taking the switch out, but more than likely, the insides of it are kind of just maybe corroded. Why don't we spray? Try to anyway. You can possibly rejuvenate those contacts before we dig ourselves a hole, right? You know, why pull the switch out? I saw headlights. We got headlights. They're working. Yeah. I saw the high beam light come on the dash. Right there. And let's go try the button. Low beam, high beam, low beam. I'll probably show you what. There we go. And off, on. Yeah. That switch just needs a little bit of loving. Well, it just saved us about an hour and a half. Well, while we're here, that's the wiper switch. I don't know if we're going to be able to get in there. That's not really where we need it. And I don't know if this one pulls out or turns. I take the knob. Let's take the knob off. I don't know if that's going to clear that outer one. There we go. This thumb comes out. That's your That's for your washer fluid. That might help us get. Is that knob the same size as our headlight switch? Oh, that was good. Why don't we try using that for, I think it's a little bit stronger, you know, it's not hollow. I think you pull it out too. There it goes. do you think? Think 65 only has one speed? Or does it have another click behind it? Let's work that first one. Go turn the key on to find out. No. Look at him go. These switch moves. And what do you want to do? How many wires are on that one? Maybe we'll do the same. Maybe we'll go back to the wiper motor. We'll put power to where the wiper motor is and we'll see if that moves. And trace power going to this switch. You agree? Let's go put that back on the headlights, considering they work now. And where'd that go? And the last thing I want to do is take a nice original switch and replace it with a piece of crap maiden, you know where. Alright, so that's our wiper motor. And I don't know if you guys can see right over here is our headlight switch. I know it's kind of dark up top. I do see a wire coming from the switch. It's wrapped up in tape. I do not know. What do you say? We just want to clip it with power real fast? There you go. That was easy. Let's go turn the switch off. I wonder if I can reach through the hole. I'll put power to it, see if it keeps going. It parked. Oh. I plan on spending all day on this. It seems like it's a good deal. Now that I said that, we still have taillights to put in it. That'll get us. I'm gonna go put a pigtail on the end of this and go figure out where on this and plug it in so that we know both of those work. And I looked, there's another wire coming from the ignition switch, a power wire coming over. And I have a feeling those two are probably tied together. Yeah. So I'll use those two. I'll get rid of this butt connector and we'll cinch that up to those. And we'll make it probably so it unplugs. All right, so we should have, go in the parked position. Our linkages are off a little bit. That wiper needs to be reset a click. It's got to come off and get turned. Actually, it doesn't have to come off. Just get it loosened up and turned and retightened. And headlights. We've got the high beam light on. Where is my switch? And outside the car, both high beams, both low beams. What do you think we try to go for? Directionals. I don't think the directional column is playing well. Yeah. So that's probably our next issue, and I'm sure we don't have a horn. Here, a relay. That's good. At least the relay's getting power to it. Let's kill the headlights. Did we get any dash lights? Yeah. I could see around the speedo. I'm not sure if the gas gauge one is working. We do have one more gauge to put in. I think it's a clock. I don't think it's a tack. Gotta go look. So back out back. So the taillights would go, and there was some wiring hanging out of the back of each one. For those who don't know, there's a bunch of red wire running underneath the car coming from the master cylinder brake light switches to the back. So I really suppose there's going to be an issue with this. Yeah, that might be the wire right there. It looks like that running under the car. let's put the parking lights on and we'll get a test light and we'll probe and see if we get power back here for parking lights. We'll start with that. I guess we'll start with the right side of the car. You can't even see. Got a test light. I'm gonna go on my battery. Yeah, I know I have power here, and the headlight switch is in the parking light position. Let's see if any of these guys want to say hello to us. That one's lit. Watch them all be lit. Okay, and one of these should be ground. Isn't that the one that just lit up? That one's lit up. That one's not. So we could figure out ground by taking our light yeah, that one's power, right? Alright, so there we go. We do not have ground. Going back to the parking light. What's that? Is that our ground? Nope. So we have, let's go reground this again. Everybody bailed on me. No one hiding. Yep. Might have just blew that fuse on it. Let's go find out. Nope. Alright, so we have, that's the parking light. That we don't know, that we don't know, and that we don't know. None of them have power. If I switch the power, so I know that one's got power. You know, if any of these lights light up, it'll be our ground wire. Nothing. 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 I'm surprised there's so many wires for, because I think there's only 2 filaments back here. There's no reverse light. It's 65. I don't think it has reverse lights. All right. Let's go check the other side. All right. See what we got over here. All right. So the yellow wire over here has power. So that's the parking light on this side. What else do we have? The red wire coming from there, and then there's the yellow wire cutting across. I bet you these 2 yellows. Bet you one of these gets grounded out back here and just goes from side to side. Sorry about that. Maybe that one. I'm gonna go look and see if I think that's a black and white color code. But this one says something. That has a T. That wouldn't be taillight though. No, it's got no power. Should be taillight now. We need to find a ground. Alright, so I went and saw what we had for taillights for this. Here's the housings. We have 3. And they have 3 bulbs on them. So there's no reverse light in the socket. So I'm going to say, you know, brake, tail light, and directional. Maybe they have them cut out separately. I'm not sure on that what the little one is for. And I don't know if there's going to be left and rights. They look pretty symmetrical, don't they? I would say these 2 were a set because they're both got the coloring on it. And we are going to need a gasket for one of them. Yeah, I gotta figure out. So the ground is going to be. The ground is going to be the housing of it. Yeah. There's no wire going to the housing. Well, there's your ground. So I think I want to take a little time and we'll clean these up. Get the bulbs out of them. Come on. Turn it a little further. We'll get the bulbs out. We'll clean all the sockets up. We'll clean the threads up on the back of these so that everything will make contact a little bit better. And then we'll worry about what goes where. Decided to shove them in a sandblast cabinet and got them fairly decent. Again, I'm more concerned with the contacts and the sockets. I think we should probably shove some tissue paper down in those, and maybe we'll come back with a little bit of silver paint and we'll do up the insides of these if I have some fast drying stuff. It'll help with the illumination of the bulb. People were asking what I use for paint on the engine. Just Rust-Oleum 2X. This is metallic aluminum. Let's see what it actually looks like. That'll be fine. Probably have something that's a little bit more mirrory finish. So I'll take a quick look. If not, we're going to stick with that. And while they're drying, I'm going to go clean all these bulbs up. And we need 4 of the larger ones and 2 of the smaller ones. So I'll clean them all up and hopefully we'll test them with a test light. And we'll have a set. Maybe. I got them cleaned off. Let's go see if we can check some bulbs. We're also going to find out, I guess, if they're 6 volt or 12 volt. That one might be a 6. This is 12. Good. Just don't touch the outside. No fuse on the jumper pack. It's gonna make a good arc. That one came and went. I think that was a 6. I honestly don't have anything that's 6 volts, so I'm not that concerned. That one's good. This one looks like, yeah, it looks like the same as that one. 6 volt. Leave that one alone. One of these should be 6 volt then too, because it was 3 sets of lights. I see a 12 on that one. Almost. That one's good. And this one looks the same. 12 volt. And this one's a 6. We'll leave this one alone. Yeah. So one of these I cooked. Make sure they don't touch each other. Alright, one of these are cooked, we'll throw away, and we'll keep the other 2 6 volts. Now I'm just going to go take them and keep them from corroding. I do the same with the sockets. Especially because after you sandblast them, any kind of protective coating that the housings, socket housings had, went bye-bye. So we'll just batter these guys up. Give those another minute or 2 to dry. We'll see how they're doing. Pull the paper towels out of them. We'll do the same. And I'm probably going to have to bend up maybe on some of the tabs to get a tighter fit, but I'd say they're probably ready. So they're put back together. We should be able to test them. Should be able to ground the fixture and then tap on the corresponding tab, and each one should light up, right? Yep. That one's no good. for the ground side of things. Let's go take that off first. Let's go give that a little more influence. That way we at least know everything will be hooking up, will be working right. So we'll check them again. That one, yes. That one, yes. That one, no. How about there? It's got a ground issue. Should we make sure that bulb still works? The bulb might just lit and went poof, you know? Yeah. Bulb's junk. That'll get you. Yeah, I hoarded my hoard and I found a bulb. Should be that top one. Good. Yeah, sometimes what happens is that the bulbs sit for a long period of time. They'll lose their vacuum, and then as soon as you power them up, they'll light for a second. And the oxygen gets to them and they burn out. Headlights are real popular with that. Well, generally, you see smoke for a while. That one's good, good, and good. All right. Put those sockets in the back. And I just hooked the 2 power wires up that we have for now that were going back there to the bottom ones. I'm guessing those are tail lights. I'm going to say one of the other 2 are brake and the other ones are going to be directional. And I haven't hooked anything else up yet. What we'll do is when we just plug in, we'll plug in what we have on both sides. But we'll just try using the directionals, getting the directionals working, and see what lights up, and then make our decision from there which one we want. Yeah, let's turn the key on and see if the directionals will do anything. Now that there's bulbs in the socket, sometimes they won't work if there's no... Something's flashing. Alright. Wanna try our luck on the other side? Flashing. I didn't guess right though, my combination was wrong. Do you want to make, I would say probably the top which should be directional and the middle one brake. You want to go for that? I just got to swap those 2 wires, and then our next step is we'll see if we can get what's going on with the brake lights. That's that one. All right. Working lights. And let's go figure out what's going on with the brake lights. I know there's already a big wire coming off the master cylinder. Let's lift the car up. We'll take a look back at that and see what is going on with wires. And so we're by the master cylinder again. These are the 2 that somebody cobbled together. It runs up top, I think above the gas tank, back down and around into over here. So one of these should already have 12 volts on it. If not, we got to put 12 volts on it so that it continues the signal. Pretty sure it's 12 volts. Yeah, it would have to be because the ground is already grounded. It's gonna be a little tight up in here. I got my test lights set up. Nothing. And we got power. If we cross those 2. What I might do, I don't know if that brake light switch is going to be any good. We could probably just put a jumper on it for now and see if we get power to the back and how to wire the back lights up. Yes, I just jumped them for now. Now we know we got power going back to that rear. Let's go see if we do. And back to the back of the car again. Let's see if that's the red wire. Good. So what they probably had is I was trying to figure out what this yellow, why they added this yellow wire going across the back. So this is going to go to the middle socket, then a jumper is going to come off that middle socket and go across and power up the other side. Yep, I plugged that one wire on, and the wire that I already had plugged in the middle automatically powered up the other side without even connecting up that added yellow wire on the bottom. So I'm going to undo that switch in the front, clean up those connections, plug them back on the brake master cylinder, and we'll see if that switch works and see if the lights turn on and off. Okay, cleaned them up, plugged them back in. Let's see, I'm giving it a 50% success rate. Yeah, all right. That means whatever the next item I'm going to do that has a 50% success rate is going to fail. I'm going to go throw those lenses on. All right, last check. Directional. The directional. Parking lights. Yeah, I guess they're bright enough. And then brake lights. Nice. Wouldn't say the lenses fit very well. You can tell the hit that it took on this side. The gap that's up on top. This whole thing is, again, good enough to get a sticker. We also got to deal with the license plate lights. Yeah, the bulb was barely even sitting in there. Let's kind of pull it out. We'll clean that up. Maybe we'll get the test light and we'll test across the socket, see if we have ground and if we have power. Let's see what we get. Alright, we got power out to there. And I need to switch over to 12 volts. Hold on. Now the other end of the test light has 12 volts positive, and then the ground side of things hopefully lights up. Now we have no ground. No, we do have ground, good. I definitely think they're going to need some cleaning up, but they do have illumination. Yeah. Who's your daddy? Good enough for a sticker. Missing the little lenses that go over them, but that should be fine. Well, I figured the last piece for getting a sticker is going to be getting the horn to work. So I started poking around. Here's the horns down there. And it grounds to the body over here, has a jumper that goes across ground, and then these two are hot. And I'm looking at where the hot lead is going. The hot lead is going to nothing. I would have a pretty good idea that that will probably go right there in the relay. I'm going to put that relay a little bit lower. Seems like if you go to, maybe not. He's taking a tire in and out of there, you know. Let's go see if it works. Yep, still clicking. Now I'm going to go probe that relay and see what we get for power. And my test light one of these should have power on it. One side should be ground. That comes from my test light ground. Let me test my test light. Test light does not light up. So that is not a good ground. Let's go for that being a good ground. That lights up. Okay. And you always got to test your test equipment. So no power there. Got power there. Power there. This should be the ground. This should be the signal. Yeah, this is the signal coming from the horn ring, and it just completes a path to ground. So to test the horns, actually, yeah, if I just touch that power, the horn should beep. Power on it, right? Yep. say that relay's contacts on the inside of it are screwed. Well, we take it apart and clean it. Yeah, the corrosion's on it. It's pretty good. And this is where the signal goes out. Power, power, ground from the horn ring, steering wheel column, and this is the power going out. I don't know if I can dig that out of there or not. If not, we're just gonna hit it with a wire wheel and we'll try it. You know, if I say I got a 50-50 shot, it's definitely gonna fail. Let's see if we can get the case. Stab myself. Doesn't really look terribly dirty. Yeah, see, it's those little contacts in there that complete the path. I am going to go hit that with a points file. Clean those contacts up, and I'm going to go clean these guys up too. Now you want to wire it. So this is the 12 volts constant we talked about. So we want to have that in two different places. One is going to be half of the coil, which is that side. And then the other 12 volts this is going to be the 12 volts of the outside that we're going to go switch to make it send out to the horn. This wire is coming from our horn. This is the ground signal. And then just the power going out to that post. If we squeeze that, it should beep the horns. Let me move it on the edge with the cover off. Let me go hit the horn ring, make sure that relay works. And we're good. I'm going to go put the cover on that. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit of lube on the back side of it. Put the cover on, screw it back in place. This is focusing on my hand. There you go. So, a fine wire and a fine wire, both of those energize this coil. When that coil gets energized, it turns into a magnet. When it turns into a magnet, it closes that door. That door completes a path for whatever you're trying to go do. So, on this one of the two sides of this coil needs to be ground, the other side needs to have 12 volts. So make that one ground, and the ground is going to be what comes from the horn ring switch. That horn ring that runs up your column that you push just makes it completes a path to ground is what it does. You wouldn't want to put 12 volts down that, it'd be just too dangerous. So that's the signal, that's the ground signal. It's always got 12 volts going to it, and then the the ground signal comes from up by the wheel. Now, power going in, power going out. What you're trying to go send further on down the road, you have an open circuit. You're trying to either send a ground signal or a power signal. So this leg right here comes right up and through. That you'll have 12 volts positive on it. It comes around, it comes around, it comes across here, and when that coil pulls in, completes the path and exits out of, I think it's this one. Gotta go look. You ohm it out anyway too. But that's how it works. It's however you want to go switch around. You can be using a bunch of different, capacities. If you have something that you're sending a 12 volt signal to it on and off, you can still do that. You just make the ground lug permanently grounded, and then the hot signal kind of coming in on the other leg of it. Doesn't really matter. So, and you can make it the path that it's going could also be a ground path or 12 volt path, however you want to orientate the switch. But this is how we're using it in our facility. The coil gets energized, closes the circuit, sends the 12 volts because it's a greater amount of voltage too. Sometimes you want to have a light circuit that controls a heavier draw circuit. You would also use a relay for that too. I don't want to lose you, so I'm going to leave it at that. All right, you want to wire it. So this is the 12 volt constant we talked about. So we want to have that in two different places. One is going to be half of the coil, which is that side. And then the other 12 volts is, this is going to be the 12 volts of the outside that we're going to go switch to make it send out to the horn. This wire is coming from our horn. This is the ground signal. And then just the power going out to that post. If we squeeze that, it should beat the horns. Let me move it on the edge with the cover off. Let me go hit the horn ring, make sure that relay works. And we're good. I'm gonna go put the cover on that. Actually, I'm gonna put a little bit of lube on the back side of it. Put the cover on, screw it back in place. I guess the last thing we could throw in is the clock. Really not much to that. I would say probably 12 volt signal. There, jumps to two of those. You know what, we're not going to hook it up though, because it's 6 volt. Yeah, I'm not going to screw it. I'll just put it back in the hole and not put power to it. Probably like the light bulb up. Maybe we'll leave that alone. I don't want to cook the winder. Let's go through that wiring. Let me get you in there. On the clock, this is 12 volt for the dash lights. Picks up one end and the other end went onto the fuel gauge. And then I had another wire right here going to this, and it is a variable resistor or potentiometer, big one. So what that is meant to do is have 12 volts come in and 6 volt goes out, and then that wire then in turn went to that clock. I'm not going to hook that up right now. Not that concerned about it. I would want to probe it, make sure that that thing is putting out, you know, 6, 7, 8 volts and not 12, just for the fact that I don't want to cook it. But that's what somebody added that on right there for when they switched it over. You can tell that's not exactly factory, huh? Well guys, I think we are about done for today. It's done with all the electrical stuff. The next is we're going to jump onto the body, door handles, and you know, misalignment of panels and that kind of thing. But I want to get it so we can drive it, and I think pretty much we do. I don't want to start it because the jumper pack is laying on the pulley. What we got? What we don't have is the indicator. That's working. Horn's working. Headlights are working. High beam, low beam. And our wipers. And do we have, make sure those dash lights are working. Too light in here to tell. We have to chase bulbs on those. Oh, there they go. Be all the way out. Yeah. That is awesome. All right. I never put the coil wire on. Yeah. Anti-theft device. Let's try it now. You know what's a good way to get rust off drums? Drive it. Well, that was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Seems to do everything it's supposed to do, and goes down the road fairly decent. Of course, you know, a lot of cobwebs and issues still to be fixed, but I am happy where we are so far. Just kind of moving ahead. I'm not going to film it. Came home, the new rag joint came in, which is for the steering. That is what was holding the steering wheel to the front end. So I grabbed the neoprene one of those to go in. And that goes right up inside there. So I'm going to clean up that hardware, guys. I want to thank you all for kind of hanging out in the garage with me and having fun working on old rusty junk. I find it quite enjoyable, and hope you guys do too. So with that, we're going to go sign off. I want to thank you all, and until the next time, see ya.